morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, Out of Voice Radio. So today, we are looking at another exciting new card from the upcoming Forbidden Light expansion. We're talking about a new Malamar. Now, personally, I have good memories. Good memories about the Malamar EX, which of course was a fun Pokemon where you attached an energy and it put the defending Pokemon to sleep and all of that good stuff. This Malamar is very different, but I do believe it could actually be a pretty gosh darn good Pokemon. It's got an ability that is very much worth getting excited about. So to start off, it is a Psychic Pokemon, which is alright, immediate hitting weakness against stuff like Buzzwole, for instance, which is very relevant at the moment. And it is weak to Psychic, which is a bit of an issue because Garbodor. And I know Garbodor is kind of coming in and out of play. Sometimes it's seeing play, sometimes it isn't. But it's still a Pokemon you've really got to be careful about. But then again, you've got 90 HP. 90 HP is not particularly good. Neither is a retreat cost of 2. Not a fan of the retreat cost here. It is the worst retreat cost in the game, but Malamar is largely a bench sitter. And when you've got a bench sitting Pokemon, what you'd really like is 0 retreat, although that's very, very rare. So maybe 1 retreat. 1 retreat would be good. But unfortunately, yeah, it is not. Which is very sad. Hey ho. Retreat cost, not particularly good. Can't win them all. Being a Psychic Pokemon really doesn't give you that many extra tips and tricks. It does mean you can combine it with Garbodor quite easily. And in the expanded format, you do get Dimension Valley, which I suppose is alright. But yeah, nothing to get too excited about. But if you want to get excited, and excitement is always good, what is a world without excitement anyway? Might I suggest getting excited about the ability? Because the ability, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very good indeed. It reads, once per turn, you may take a Psychic Energy from your discard pile and attach it to one of your benched Pokemon. Now, you can see there looking at the text, there's only one Psychic Energy symbol, which means it has to be Psychic Energy, but it is to any bench Pokemon whatsoever. This might actually be the Psychic Energy acceleration that we've been waiting for. Think of it as a once per turn Aqua Patch, but for Psychic Pokemon. Now I say once per turn, the translation we have at the moment from the lovely Autobot Tesla doesn't put any kind of limit on this. It doesn't say it doesn't stack. The general rule is we assume it stacks unless it says it doesn't. So nice and simply here, we can assume that it will. That means if you've got 2 of your Malamar on the field, then you can have this ability twice. And then it builds up, and it builds up, and it builds up. You could, in theory, be getting 4 energy extra per turn. Now, I don't necessarily think that you will. This is probably a 1 or 2 of at best, but it's still Psychic Energy acceleration. And we need this, ladies and gentlemen. There have been a bunch of Pokemon in the past that I've basically said, look, fine, but the energy cost is too horrible. So if we look at something like Toxapex GX as an example, good Pokemon. Now, it did have the Psychic weakness, which it still does, which we said was an issue with Garbodor, but then again, Garbodor's not seeing as much play at the moment, so maybe we can get away with that. Big problem, the good attacks are for free Psychic Energy. Super Intense Poison, their poison put 10 damage counters on per turn, although you could always use Ace of Viper to increase that. And then Total Shouter GX, 150 damage, and it gets immunity the following turn. So of course, with something like that, either you KO a Buzzwole, or you grab something like a Choice Band, and then you KO a Tapu Lele. But the theory here is that you get a KO, preferably for 2 prizes, while giving yourself immunity the following turn, so you can use Super Intense Poison knowing that you're not getting KO'd. Unless your opponent drops a Pokemon Ranger, but say it with me, ladies and gentlemen, nobody is playing that at the moment. But the big issue has always been free Psychic Energy. It's too much, it's too expensive. We don't have a good way to accelerate Psychic Energy. Well, now let's say you've got 2 Malamar on the bench. Well, that's fine. Because now all of a sudden, all you need to do is just get an energy, and you attach one energy with Malamar, one energy with the other Malamar, one energy from your hand, and then you're off and you've got the free energy and you're ready to go. And now you realistically are being able to use super intense poison every single turn. And the fact is, we need energy acceleration, and there's no good universal energy acceleration. We've got stuff like Sylvali that attacks for colorless energy and can accelerate any kind of energy, but that's an attack. Energy acceleration is always better as an ability or an item card. It's why we love Aqua Patch, but we're not in love with something like a Registeel, because as much as I love Registeel, there's too many games, too many turns where you want to be using a different attack. This could make some of these psychic Pokemon genuinely relevant. And while we're here, if we're talking about psychic Pokemon and adding energy, we've got to mention Lunala GX. Lunala GX has a really amazing ability, Psychic Transfer. As often as you like during your turn, you can move your psychic energy from one Pokemon to another. And that basically means that you max potion. You move the energy off max potion, move the energy back. Or you put the energy on anything and then you move it onto the Pokemon with whom you want to attack. I have seen rumours that people really want to be playing, and this is a deck we'll talk about more in the near future, playing the new Solgaleo GX with this Lunala, because 250 HP and an ability that takes away weakness, you sit here with this, doing a whole bunch of damage, and then moving the energy round with Lunala. But then, of course, you have the issue of how do you get that energy back. Now, Solgaleo does have an attack which does it, but you've also got Malamar there. Malamar once per turn with the ability. It means you can just chuck all this psychic energy into the discard, get it back with Malamar, move it around with Lunala, and we are off. There have been way too many videos that I have made where I have said, look, it's good, but it's too expensive and we don't have a good way to accelerate psychic energy. Well, now we do. And now things are getting real, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know, I can't sit here and say for absolute certain that Malamar is going to be amazing. And I cannot sit here and say that it is going to be played in a whole bunch of decks, it's going to make Toxapex relevant, etc. But what I will tell you is, of all the non-meta Pokemon, the one I have received by far the most deck list for in my inbox on Twitter, email, etc. from you guys is Toxapex. People really want it to work. And this is the best card we've had in a long time that might make Toxapex work. And when I say Toxapex, I of course mean any psychic Pokemon that attacks for more than one energy. Although you can even use this with something like Garbodor, so you don't even have to find an energy. Now, there is an attack on Malamar, but you guys that have been watching for a while will know, if I get 8 minutes into the video, and we've not even mentioned the attack yet, it's not particularly good. Psychic, colorless, 60 damage. It's obscene. It's way, way too low. I mean, if you had a choice badge, you're not even getting a one-hit KO on Buzzwole, but there's just better Pokemon to put the energy on. This is a really, really expensive attack. You can't even use double colorless energy. So you're basically talking free psychic energy to do 60 damage. It's way too expensive. It is an absolutely terrible attack. Even in the context of Pokemon like Octillery, which are just used as a bench sitter and you never expect to be attacking, even in that context, it is a really, really bad attack. But that's alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're not playing this for the attack, we're playing it for the ability, and I love the ability. It is a really good ability, which any time now, from now until this is rotated, any time that you find yourself making a deck or looking at a Pokemon that has a psychic energy cost, which is more than one, then all you need to do, and every time you will be thinking, Malamar. I am not saying Malamar's gonna break every one of these Pokemon, but I am absolutely saying that it is going to be the thing that people are trying to use. For that reason, I'm giving it between 3 and 4 Wossies. Of course, we don't give half Wossies, because that would be barbaric. But as of all of these, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear your opinions. I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! But be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel and get some bonus pods while you're at it, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio. And might I suggest checking out Wassy Plays, my video game channel. But by far the most important thing as always is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.